Let me tell you something. Some of the greatest battles you will ever fight will not be against the world, but against the distractions that try to pull you away from your destiny. You are out here wasting energy trying to prove yourself to people who don't even have a seat at your table. You are exhausting yourself, explaining your plans to those who were never meant to understand them. It is time to focus on yourself and stay silent. When you start working on you, your goals, your mindset, your spirit, distractions will come disguised as conversations, drama, and noise. But you don't have time to entertain what does not serve you. The moment you decide to shift, the enemy sends something to pull you back. That's why silence is power. That's why discipline is key. The loudest person in the room isn't the strongest, the one who moves in silence, who lets their work speak, who doesn't need validation. That's the one who rises. Stop announcing your next move. Stop explaining yourself to people who will never understand your vision. Stay quiet, stay consistent, and watch how God moves on your behalf. Some of you have been stuck in the same place because you're too busy watching others, comparing your progress, worrying about what they think, craving their approval. But let me tell you, the only person who needs to be impressed with your growth is you. The only voice that matters is the one inside you, telling you to keep going when no one is clapping. If you really want to transform your life, shut out the noise and put in the work. Some seasons require you to be unseen, unknown, and unbothered. That is where true elevation happens. People will wonder what happened to you, but let them wonder. People will talk, but let them talk. When the time is right, your success will be undeniable. You don't need permission to become the best version of yourself. You just need focus. You just need discipline. You just need the courage to move in silence and let your results make the noise. So I challenge you today. Lock in. Cut out distractions. Protect your vision. Focus on yourself. Stay silent. And watch how everything shifts in your favor. Energy is one of the most valuable resources you have. It's not just about physical strength or mental endurance. It's about where you direct your attention, your thoughts, and your emotions. Every day you wake up with a limited amount of energy. The question is, are you using it to build yourself up, or are you scattering it on things that don't serve you? Too many people waste their energy on what others are doing, what others are saying, or how others perceive them. They are caught up in proving themselves, defending their choices, and responding to negativity. But let me tell you something. Every time you react to nonsense, you are giving away a piece of yourself. Every time you engage in unnecessary battles, you are draining energy that should have been invested in your growth. Imagine waking up every morning with a set amount of fuel. That fuel is supposed to take you through the day, helping you build, create, and push toward your vision. But instead of using it wisely, you start pouring it into things that don't matter. Arguments that don't change anything, relationships that take more than they give, situations that distract rather than develop you. By midday, you're running on empty, exhausted, and frustrated, wondering why you're not making progress. It's not that you don't have the strength, it's that you've been spending it in the wrong places. When you understand that your energy is sacred, you become intentional about where you place it. You stop responding to everything. You stop explaining yourself to people who have already made up their minds about you. You stop wasting time trying to convince those who were never meant to walk with you. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not every situation requires your input. Not every battle is meant to be fought. Some people will try to pull you into their chaos because they see you focused, and your focus intimidates them. They will provoke you, test you, and try to distract you with things that have nothing to do with your purpose. They will disguise their distractions as concern or advice, but in reality, they are just looking for a way to drain your energy. You have to be wise enough to recognize when something is pulling you away from your purpose. You don't have time to be explaining your next move to people who don't even believe in you. You don't have time to be waiting for approval when you know you've been called to something greater. Every minute you spend defending yourself is a minute taken away from becoming your best self. Some people will misunderstand your silence. They will think you've changed. They will say you're acting different, but let them think what they want. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing to protect your energy. You don't owe anyone an apology for focusing on your growth. If they can't handle your silence, it means they were only comfortable when you were distracted. There is a reason why the most successful people in the world guard their energy. They don't engage in meaningless arguments. They don't chase after people who walked away. They don't waste their strength on things that don't move them forward. They understand that every ounce of energy is precious and they use it wisely. You have to be just as disciplined. You have to be just as intentional. You have to recognize that not every invitation deserves a response, not every opinion deserves a reaction, and not every situation deserves your energy. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not surrender. Silence is power. In a world that constantly demands a response, a reaction, or an explanation, choosing to remain silent is one of the greatest strengths you can develop. Most people are uncomfortable with silence. They feel the need to fill every moment with words, explanations, and justifications. But the more you speak, the more you reveal. The more you explain yourself, the more you allow others to dissect and question your every move. The more you react, the more control you give away. Silence gives you control. When you stay, you take away the power of those who seek to provoke you. They expect a reaction. They want to see you defend yourself, argue, and break focus. But when you don't engage, when you don't respond, when you don't allow their words to pull you into their chaos, you remain in control. You dictate the terms. You decide where your energy goes. The strongest individuals are not the ones who speak the loudest. They are the ones who know when to speak and when to stay silent. They understand that not every battle requires their words. Not every situation needs their input. Some things are best handled by simply watching, observing, and letting time do the talking. Silence allows you to think before you act. It gives you the space to process, reflect, and strategize. When you are constantly talking, you are reacting, not thinking. You are responding to the world instead of shaping your own reality. But when you step back, when you refuse to engage in meaningless conversations, you gain clarity. You see things as they are, not as they are presented to you. People fear silence because it forces them to sit with themselves. It forces them to confront their own thoughts, their own emotions, and their own reality. But this is where growth happens. This is where true power is developed. The ability to be silent in the face of noise, to hold your peace when others demand a reaction, is a level of discipline that few people ever achieve. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop seeking validation. You no longer need to prove yourself to anyone. You no longer feel the need to be understood. And when you no longer seek external validation, you become unshakable. The opinions of others lose their grip on you. The expectations of the world no longer dictate your actions. You move with purpose, not with pressure. Silence is a weapon. It confuses those who expect you to react. It makes people uncomfortable because they don't know what you're thinking, what you're planning, or how you feel. And that's exactly the point. You don't have to reveal everything. You don't have to explain your every move. Some things are meant to be kept private, protected, and nurtured in silence. There is wisdom in saying less. There is strength in holding your tongue when others are quick to speak. There is power in letting your actions speak louder than your words. The less you say, the more people listen when you do speak. The less you reveal, the more control you maintain. The less you engage in unnecessary conversations, the more focus you have to build the life you want. Distractions don't always come in the form of obvious temptations. Sometimes they disguise themselves as responsibilities, relationships, conversations, or even opportunities. They come as small interruptions that seem harmless but slowly pull you away from your purpose. They come as endless scrolling, unnecessary drama, and meaningless engagements that steal your time and energy. They come as people who demand your attention but don't contribute to your growth. Every great achievement requires focus. But focus is impossible when you allow distractions to take control. You can have the best plan, the clearest vision, and the strongest desire, but if you constantly let distractions take you off course, you will never reach where you're supposed to be. Distractions don't just slow you down. They keep you stuck in a cycle of wasted time, wasted energy, and wasted potential. The most dangerous distractions are the ones that feel urgent but aren't actually important. It's the endless notifications that pull you away from deep work. It's the unnecessary conversations that add no value to your life. It's the constant need to check what others are doing instead of staying committed to your own path. When you give in to these distractions, you sacrifice your progress for temporary satisfaction. Distractions steal more than just your time, they steal your peace. Every time you allow yourself to be pulled into meaningless drama, you drain your energy on things that don't serve you. Every time you let someone's opinion affect your focus, you give them control over your direction. Every time you put your dreams on hold to entertain things that don't matter, you push your destiny further away. Success requires discipline, and discipline means learning how to say no to what doesn't align with your purpose. It means turning down invitations that don't contribute to your growth. It means ignoring the noise and staying locked in on your goals. It means recognizing that not everything that demands your attention deserves your attention. One of the biggest reasons people don't reach their potential is because they are too distracted by what others are doing. They spend their energy watching other people's lives, comparing themselves, and measuring their progress against someone else's timeline. But comparison is a distraction in itself. It pulls you away from your own lane, your own journey, and your own purpose. The moment you shift your focus to someone else's life, you lose sight of your own. Distractions often come when you are closest to a breakthrough. Just when you are about to make real progress, something will try to pull you away. It might be doubt, it might be fear, it might be people who suddenly have an opinion about your choices. It might be an unexpected obstacle that tries to shake your confidence. But the enemy of your purpose knows that if he can't stop you, he will try to distract you. Because distraction is just another form of delay. If you want to elevate your life, you must protect your focus. You must be intentional about what you allow into your space. You must guard your mind, your time, and your energy like they are the most valuable things you own. Because they are. What you focus on, you feed. What you give your attention to, you give your power to. And if you constantly allow distractions to dictate your actions, you will never have the strength to build the life you were meant to live. Mastering your emotions is the key to control. Emotions are powerful. They can drive you towards success or lead you into destruction. They can push you to make bold moves or trap you in cycles of frustration and regret. The problem is not having emotions. The problem is allowing emotions to have you. When you let your emotions control you, you give up your power. You react instead of responding. You let circumstances dictate your state of mind instead of staying grounded in your purpose. Too many people make decisions based on how they feel in the moment. They quit when they feel discouraged. They lash out when they feel offended. They engage in arguments when they feel provoked. But emotions are temporary, and making permanent decisions based on temporary feelings will always lead to regret. Strength doesn't come from acting on every impulse. It comes from mastering the ability to stay calm, focused, and in control, no matter what's happening around you. When you learn how to manage your emotions, you stop being a puppet to your circumstances. You stop letting bad days turn into bad weeks, and bad weeks turn into bad months. You stop allowing negative people to ruin your peace. You stop wasting energy on things that don't deserve a reaction. Mastering your emotions means you decide how you feel instead of letting the world decide for you. People who can't control their emotions are easily manipulated. They are easily provoked, easily offended, and easily thrown off track. They get distracted by every little comment, every small inconvenience, and every unnecessary battle. But when you learn to control your emotions, you become untouchable. People may try to upset you, but they won't succeed. Situations may try to shake you, but they won't break you. You won't be moved by fear, frustration, or doubt because you understand that emotions are just passing waves, and you are the one who decides which waves to ride. Mastering your emotions also means knowing when to stay silent. Not every comment needs a response. Not every attack needs a reaction. Sometimes the best thing you can do is say nothing at all. Because when you stay silent, you maintain control. You keep your power instead of handing it over to someone else. You stay focused instead of getting caught up in unnecessary drama. One of the biggest traps in life is reacting too quickly. You hear something that upsets you, and you respond without thinking. You face a challenge, and instead of staying calm, you panic. But emotions are like storms. They pass. And if you can learn to sit still in the storm, you will come out stronger on the other side. The key is not to suppress your emotions, but to understand them. To recognize when they are trying to push you into a reaction that doesn't serve you. To acknowledge how you feel without letting that feeling control your next move. The most powerful people in the world are not the ones who scream the loudest or fight the hardest. They are the ones who know how to remain calm under pressure. They are the ones who don't allow temporary emotions to push them off course. They are the ones who understand that control over self is the highest level of power a person can have, because when you can master your emotions, you can master anything in life. Protect your energy at all costs. Energy is your most valuable asset. It determines how much you can give, how far you can go, and how strong you can stand when life gets tough. But most people don't realize how much energy they waste on things that don't matter. They give their time, their emotions, and their mental space to people and situations that drain them instead of fueling them. They spend hours overthinking problems, arguing with people who will never understand them, and worrying about things they can't change. Protecting your energy means being selective about where you invest it. You don't have unlimited energy. Every moment you spend engaging in negativity is a moment you could have spent building your future. Every time you let someone's words upset you, you give them power over your emotions. Every time you allow a distraction to take you off course, you give it control over your destiny. Energy is not just about physical strength, it's about mental, emotional, and spiritual endurance. And if you don't guard it, you will find yourself exhausted, frustrated, and stuck in the same place year after year. Some people are energy vampires. They come into your life not to build, but to drain. They bring their problems, their drama, and their negativity, and before you know it, you're carrying their burdens as if they were your own. But you were not meant to carry everyone else's baggage. You were not designed to fix every broken person you encounter. You can love people from a distance. You can care without allowing them to consume you. Because the truth is, some people don't want help, they just want attention. And if you are not careful, you will spend your life trying to save people who have no intention of saving themselves. Protecting your energy also means being mindful of what you consume. The conversations you have, the media you watch, the thoughts you entertain. All of these things shape your mental state. If you constantly feed your mind negativity, fear, and doubt, that is what will grow inside you. But if you surround yourself with positivity, wisdom, and inspiration, your energy will reflect that. Your environment plays a huge role in your energy levels. If you are always in toxic spaces, around toxic people, engaging in toxic habits, you cannot expect to thrive. Another way to protect your energy is by learning how to say no. Too many people feel guilty for setting boundaries. They feel like they have to be available to everyone all the time. But saying yes to everything is the fastest way to drain yourself. You cannot be everything to everyone. You cannot fix everything. You are allowed to prioritize yourself. You are allowed to walk away from situations that no longer serve you. You are allowed to protect your peace, even if it disappoints other people. Protecting your energy is not about being selfish. It's about being wise. It's about understanding that you cannot pour from an empty cup. It's about knowing that if you are constantly drained, you cannot give your best to the things that truly matter. It's about realizing that not everyone deserves access to you. Some people only come to take. Some situations only come to distract. And some battles are not yours to fight. If you want to elevate, if you want to grow, if you want to become everything you were meant to be, you must guard your energy like your life depends on it. Because it does. Silence is your greatest strength. Silence is misunderstood. People think being silent means being weak, that it means accepting defeat or avoiding confrontation. But silence is not about weakness, it is about wisdom. It is about knowing when to speak and when to hold your tongue. It is about recognizing that not everything requires your reaction, not every battle needs your involvement, and not every opinion deserves your response. The most powerful people in the world understand the value of silence. They don't waste their words proving their worth. They don't argue with people who refuse to listen. They don't explain themselves to those who have already decided to misunderstand them. They know that energy is precious, and the moment you start defending yourself against every false accusation, every petty argument, and every unnecessary distraction, you are handing over your power. When you stay silent, you maintain control. You keep people guessing. You don't reveal your next move, and you don't give others the ability to manipulate your emotions. Silence is a weapon. It allows you to observe, to strategize, and to move with wisdom instead of impulse. It keeps you ahead because while everyone else is busy talking, reacting, and explaining, you are listening, learning, and preparing. Silence also protects your peace. Not everything in life needs your input. Some people speak just to be heard, not to understand. Some people create chaos just to pull you into their storm. And the moment you engage, you give them what they want, your energy, your focus, your attention. But when you choose silence, you refuse to participate in their distractions. You refuse to be moved by negativity. You refuse to let outside noise shake your inner peace. There is a reason why some of the most successful people move in silence. They don't announce their every plan. They don't broadcast their every step. They let their actions speak louder than their words. Because the truth is, people cannot attack what they cannot see. They cannot ruin what they do not know. The moment you start talking about everything you're planning, everything you're doing, you open the door for doubt, criticism, and unnecessary interference. But when you move in silence, you move with power. You build in private, you grow in peace. And when you finally reveal what you've been working on, it's already too strong for anyone to stop. Silence also gives you the ability to listen, to truly listen. Most people don't listen to understand, they listen to respond. They are too focused on what they are going to say next to actually hear what is being said. But when you practice silence, you develop patience. You gain knowledge, you pick up on things that others miss. You begin to see beyond the surface, to recognize the truth behind the words, to understand people not by what they say, but by what they don't say. Silence is not just about withholding words. It is about controlling emotions. It is about not allowing anger to push you into saying things you will regret. It is about not letting fear make decisions for you. It is about not reacting to every situation with impulse, but responding with wisdom. The strongest people are not the loudest. They are the ones who know when to hold back, when to observe, and when to let their presence do the talking. Your greatest strength lies in your ability to focus on yourself and remain silent. In a world that constantly demands your attention, your reaction, your energy, you must learn to guard it fiercely. The more you invest in yourself, the less you will need validation from others. The more you control your emotions, the more powerful you become. And the more you embrace silence, the more unstoppable you will be. Growth happens in silence. Strength is built in solitude. Transformation comes when you remove distractions, cut off unnecessary noise, and dedicate yourself to your journey. You don't need to announce your every move. You don't need to respond to every comment. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone. Let your progress speak for itself. Let your success be the answer. The world is full of noise, but the wise know that silence holds the most power. While others waste their breath arguing, you will be building. While they seek attention, you will be mastering your craft. And when the time is right, when you have grown beyond what they imagine, they won't hear you coming, but they will see the results. Stay focused, stay silent, and watch how life rewards those who move with wisdom, discipline, and unwavering purpose.